Ladies and gentlemen,
We don't know where Ryan is. Okay, now go.
at this time, will you all please rise as Ryan Zwerin sings our national anthem and remain standing for the invocation given by the Reverend Karen Gallagher.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray together.
Good evening. Honored guests, members of the Hall of Champions Association, former inductees, members of the high school faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen. As president of the Hall of Champions Association, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome each of you this evening to our 23rd Annual Hall of Champions and Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Despite the turmoil each of us has gone through this fall as a result of the terrorist acts on our country, tonight we will focus on many wonderful and good deeds accomplished by our inductees. We appreciate your attendance tonight to help us honor 10 special graduates who will be recognized for their outstanding accomplishments in athletics or life pursuits. The span of this year's honorees' graduating classes run from 1949 to 1988, a total of 39 years. Selecting, honoring, and perpetuating the names of these graduates is the exciting reward and climax for all the hard work extended on behalf of our association's members throughout the year. Each inductee will receive a handsome plaque with their picture and accomplishments inscribed. Also, each inductee will have their name added to a permanent plaque located in the lobby of this auditorium for the Hall of Fame inductees and in the athletic wing for the Hall of Champions inductees. The plaques will perpetuate the names of these graduates. For 220 graduates have previously been inducted for the 100+ years the high school has been in existence. Tonight, we celebrate only the third graduate ever to be inducted into both the Hall of Champions and the Hall of Fame. I personally want to extend my congratulations and those of the Hall of Champions Association members to Major George into our two halls. Our association offers this challenge to each of these students. Bill Cleary retired athletic director of Harvard University, said, "When the last roar fades, it's the friendships, the memories, and the discipline that you take with you." Not only does that statement apply to athletics, but is also true of life. Our Hall of Champions Association now has 150 life members who paid a one-time fee of $50. All of this money is retained by the association with only the income allowed for expenses. We also offer an annual membership for $10 per year. If you are not a member, we would like to encourage you to become a member at our membership table in the cafeteria after the ceremony. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to introduce Dr. Hildy Jaffe, the principal of Norristown Area High School.
Inductees, outstanding students, members of the Hall of Champions Association, family, and friends, welcome. As principal of Norristown Area High School, it is a pleasure for me to congratulate all of you who are being honored this evening. It is also my pleasure once again to take part in the ceremony demonstrating the present and past excellence of accomplishments by Norristown students. It's been a joy for me to work closely with the Hall of Champions Association by serving as their liaison with the high school these past 5 years. This is truly a group of dedicated, hard-working, remarkable people who keep the spirit of Norristown Area High School and its students and alumni alive. Again, thank you for coming to share this evening with us.
This evening, we present the person selected for the second annual Louis A. Spinelli Memorial Award. The criteria for being selected for this award is dedication over time to viewing Norristown Area High School sporting events. Mr. Spinelli was an avid Norristown Area High School sports fan for over 60 years of his life. He also was a director of the Hall of Champions Association for many years. Our association created this memorial for him when he passed away at the age of 90 years in March of 2000. A memorial plaque for Mr. Spinelli with the selected award winner names is mounted on the wall in the athletic wing. If you know of other people who might be considered for this award, we are certainly always entertaining nominees. And they are people that would be watching, who are dedicated to watching Norristown sports, no matter what sport, over a period of time. The recipient of this year's award is Lee Schwartz, Norton Township. Lee is married and has a son, Stephen, who is currently a senior at Norristown Area High School. He is Director of Audio-Visual Services for Siemens Health Services, where he has been employed for 26 years. He has a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Communications from New York Institute of Technology and a Master of Science in Instructional Media from Westchester State University. He became an NA sports fan in 1993 when his son Rick was a wrestler. Ever since, he has been a regular attendee of wrestling matches and men's and women's basketball games, both home and away. Whenever time permits, he also attends swimming meets and softball games. Through watching these sporting events, Lee says that he has come to appreciate the hard work and dedication that both the athletes and coaches put into their individual sport. For the past 8 years, he has also produced written and edited promos which were aired on the NAHS TV for all home wrestling matches. Mr. Schwartz, would you please come to the stage and accept your award at this time?
First, I'd like to thank Joe Fabrizio for nominating me for this award, and I'd also story of my life. I'd also like to thank the family and friends of Lou Spinelli for creating this award. I never met, but I consider Lou and I to be kindred spirits in our love for Norristown High School sports. But most of all, I'd like to thank the student athletes of Norristown Area High School for giving me so many years of enjoyment and for showing me that you don't have to be a champion to make a contribution, and you don't have to be an all-star to be a hero. All you have to do is give 110% every time you step out onto the mat, the field, or the court, and these young athletes certainly do. Thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to introduce former inductees who are here this evening. And this year, I would appreciate it if you would wait until they are all introduced before you applaud. We'll have one applause at the end. And I'd like to ask each former inductee to stand when I call their name and remain standing until the end. The first one I have is Gregory Bates in the Hall of Champions from the class of 1975. Gregory, would you please stand? He's in there. Hold your applause, please. Next one is Ken Brown, Hall of Fame, 1928. Frederick E. Lobb, Hall of Fame, 1948. James C. Randolph, Hall of Champions, class of 1951. William H. Markley, Hall of Fame, class 1951. William Lessig, Hall of Fame, class 1955. Phil Nur, Hall of Champions, class of 1950. Jerry Spinelli, Hall of Fame, class of 1959. David Stagliano Sr., Hall of Champions, class of 1965. Dr. Frank J. Tornetta, Hall of Fame, class of 1978. That's not right. Is that 28? When you don't write clearly, I'm absolved. I know it's not 78. I know it's way back. Richard W. Schulberg, Hall of Fame, 1957. Richard W. Rogers, Hall of Fame, 1953. Elena Antonelli, Dr. Elena Antonelli, Hall of Fame, 1971. Kenneth E. Bosler, Hall of Champions, class 1941. Bill Werkeiser, Hall of Champions, class of 1951. Thomas Catanese, Hall of Fame, class 1958. Jim Williams, Hall of Champions, class 1962. And Clayton, Hall of Champions, class of 1990. Thank you very much for coming. At this time, we have a little deviation from our program. It's not marked in your programs. I would like to make a surprise presentation to a member of the Hall Champions Association who has worked very diligently over many years in helping to make these induction ceremonies a success. This person is not a graduate of Norristown Area High School, but a native of the Buckeye State, Ohio. She has chaired the committee, produced our programs over the years. She has held other positions such as recording secretary, currently corresponding secretary of our association. She is a dedicated and loyal supporter of our association, even though she has never attended our high school. She and her husband Jay are the parents of 3 sons, John, Kurt, and Frank, who graduated from Norristown Area High School, and she resides in West Norriton Town. At this time, will Joyce England please come to the stage? This is for you from the association. Just say thank you.
He tricked me. No, I did not graduate from the Norristown Area High School, but and the reason I am here is because I got stuck. And Wilmer's a good friend, and I was president of the Parent Faculty Club, and he wanted a liaison for the Hall of Champions, and so I was that, and I just know. It has been a pleasure working with these people. I love them dearly, and we all work hard. It wasn't all me. I had a great committee all those years, and so it was fun. I don't know whether I'd do it again or not, but they're great, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you. And this is a surprise.
She is a very hard worker, and we certainly appreciate everything she has done over the years. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you Joseph Fabrizio, the Director of Athletics of the school district, and he will introduce the student athletes.
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate all of the past winners and tonight's winners. When you're here long enough, you get to know a lot of these people. A couple coaches that are here that are working for me now. Some gentleman, Mr. Bowers, I had him in class way back, and now his 3 daughters are here playing for us. So keep the string going, and the athletic part of Norristown High School will always be a success by having the offspring of people that are being honored here tonight. Today, I'm very proud to announce these next people. I promised Jaffe I wouldn't say this, but at the beginning, when I talk to the kids, I always say, if you want to have fun, come on over to my building. This is where we have all the fun, because all the fun starts for us after school. And if you stick around after school, you sweat, you run, you get tired, but it all pays off. And the students that we're honoring here tonight are just as good over on my end of the building as they are here, because they're student athletes. They combine both, put it all together, and hopefully one day we'll see these student athletes again sitting out here. I'd first like to introduce Jackie Lanuti. Jackie is a 10th grade student. She has played 2 years of field hockey. She is first year of varsity this year. She also played softball for us last year as a 9th grader. She has a 4.08 GPA in the gifted program. She was student of the month in September. She says her greatest attributes are she's determined and talkative. She would hope to attend Penn State, become a field hockey coach, and a math teacher. Jackie, congratulations. Okay, for all you guys that like to play golf, these next two that we're going to introduce are 10th graders on our golf team. The first one is Philip Mayer. I have the opportunity for Urban One League to be the golf coordinator, and I'll tell you what, you got to see some of these guys play golf. Down at our championships, these guys hit the ball 280 yards straight down the middle. It's unbelievable that 9th and 10th graders and kids in high school can play golf. But Phil has played for 2 years on the varsity team. He's also played baseball. He was a student of the month. He was a math league champ. He said he's energetic and resilient, and he would like to go to school to become an architect. Phil, congratulations. Our next 10th grader is Ryan Pauline. Ryan also is a golfer for 2 years on the varsity team. Says his greatest accomplishment since he's been in 3rd grade, getting nothing but A's and B's, and being on the honor roll. He says his greatest attributes are he's determined, pleasant, and hardworking, and he would someday like to be a lawyer. Congratulations. Our first 11th grade winner is Matt Tomko. Matt is a member of our soccer team for 3 years. He ran track for 2 years, and I'm sure he'll be out there again. His greatest accomplishment is that he has a high GPA. He says he's hardworking, funny, and happy, and he plans to attend. You wrote it. That's what. Oh, yeah, well, I just pick out the good ones. I left all the bad ones out. Okay, plans to attend college and graduate school. Matt, congratulations. Our next inductee is Julie Fusco. Julie has played volleyball for 3 years. She's a member of our varsity for 1 year. She says her greatest accomplishment is being on the honor roll, and she is motivated. She was nominated for the Honor Society. She says she is creative, determined, and optimistic. She helped build a bocce court for the Bocce Special Olympics team, and she hopes to go to college, play, and coach volleyball. Julie, congratulations. Here comes my cousin. This guy looks just like me here. Joe K. Kawanui. Joe, football player, 3 years, 1 year varsity, track, 2 years, 1 year on the varsity, student of the month for this month of November. He is the co-president of the class of 2003. He says he's hardworking, humorous, dedicated, and I'll tell you one thing. This guy does tricks with cards you would not believe. Don't play cards with him, you'll lose. He hopes to attend the University of Penn, open his own casino. I wonder why. His mom says he should be a senator, and he says his mom's, Joe, congratulations. Our first senior inductee is Donna Berman. Donna has been a swimmer for 3 years on the varsity. She's also been a 4-year starter in tennis on the varsity. She's hardworking, both academically and athletically. She says her greatest characteristics are that she's optimistic, caring, friendly, and charming. And she plans to major. Why are you laughing? She is gonna, look at that smile. And she plans to major in chemistry in college. Donna, congratulations. Our next student is Mike Hinton. Mike has been on the soccer team for 4 years, 1 year on the varsity. He's playing baseball for 3, and I'm sure he'll play again this year on the varsity. His proudest is he's a member of the National Honor Society and Who's Who in American high schools. He says his greatest attributes are that he's respectful, intelligent, and focused, and he hopes to attend VMI, become an engineer, and then a pilot in the Air Force. Last but not least, Sarah Reagan. Sarah's been... Sarah has a fan club. Okay, Sarah's been on our swim team on the varsity for 4 years. She's been a member of the softball team. Her proudest moment is when she improved her times enough to win last year the Suburban One League 200 freestyle and placed second in the 100 freestyle. She says that she is determined, dedicated, mature, and proud. And she hopes to attend college and to study marine biology. Sarah, congratulations.
Donald W. Shank, class of 1951. A three-sport champion in every sense of the word, who left this life much too early of an age. Don's athletic prowess made him an outstanding football, basketball, and baseball player during his 3 years at Norristown High. He played both offense and defense on the football team and was named to the All-State Scholastic team in his senior year as a guard. His football honors included the prestigious Ray S. Musselman Memorial Award and the Pagel Award for his senior year. On the baseball team 3 years, Don was an outstanding first baseman with plenty of power and also pitched. He played varsity basketball on the Eagles 5. Upon graduation, Don attended Penn State, majoring in physical education. He played guard on the Nittany Lions varsity football team in the pre-Joe Paterno era, and he also played varsity baseball while at Penn State. He became coordinator of athletic facilities at Drexel University and served as line coach for the Drexel football team from 1958 to 1986. He also coached the Drexel baseball team and was inducted into the Drexel Hall of Fame for his coaching in 1990. Playing American Legion baseball in 1951, Don was named the best hitter in the league and was also the team's leading pitcher, 7 wins in an undefeated season. His widow, the former Claire Yenny, resides in West Norriton. They have 2 sons and a daughter. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Robert Shank to the stage as his father, Donald, is inducted into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions.
On behalf of my mother, family, and friends, I'd like to thank Mr. Jimmy Randolph and the Norristown Hall of Champions for this honor. My father often talked about Norristown sports, and this would have been a great honor for him. Thank you very much.
Frank Rinky Batson, class of '94. During his school days, he had designs on winning every race, while now in his adult life, he has designs of a different nature. A member of the varsity cross-country team for 3 years, Rinky Batson served as team captain in 1952 and 53. He won 14 meets, 13 in a row, from the last meet of the 1952 season through the entire 53 season. During that season, he established or tied course records 6 different times. He also held the NHS course record, which was 2.3 miles in distance at 11 minutes, 14 seconds. Our honoree finished 3rd in the 1953 District 1 Championship meet. He also represented NHS at 2 PIAA championship meets at Penn State, finishing 28th as a junior and 19th as a when the meet was held with 8 inches of snow on the ground in 1953. Also a member of the school's track team, Rinky won 4 dual meets running the mile and half-mile races. In the 50th annual Norristown Interscholastics in 1954, Rinky finished 2nd in the mile run, breaking the school record by 3 seconds. Rinky also played baseball while at Norristown, playing second base and catcher for the varsity 9 in 53. A graduate of the Philadelphia Museum College of Art, he received an associate degree in advertising design. He has been a longtime member and exhibitor of the Norristown Art League, winning several awards. And he currently works as a house portrait artist. Rinky was employed as a lineman and deskman for 38 years with Bell of Pennsylvania, and he also served as a PIAA baseball umpire from 1984 to 1996. He resides in Elmira in Worcester, and they're the parents of 2 daughters and a son. At this time, please welcome Frank Rinky Batson to the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions.
That was the last running I'm ever going to do. Good evening. Greetings to my fellow inductees, to my dear friends and family, to the student athletes here at Norristown. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your kind support and your attendance this evening. My deepest thanks to the Hall of Champions Committee for selecting me for this award tonight. Coming at my stage in life, I am very, very honored to be remembered in this manner. My thanks also to Norristown Area High School for hosting this special event, and my special to the young lady that was honored here earlier, Donna Berman, who I had the pleasure of having a conducted tour this afternoon of the school. Entering Norristown High School in September of 1951, 15-year-old Rinky Batson didn't have a prayer of making the football team or the basketball team. Oh, he liked those sports and had played them to some degree at Stuart Junior High and earlier at Shane Hartranft Grade School. But at 5 feet 2 inches tall, 102 pounds after a hot shower. Making those teams just wasn't an option. Coming from a sports-minded family and from a neighborhood in Norristown's West End where sports were played vigorously on vacant lots and back alley baskets, I really wanted to get involved in high school athletics. So during that summer leading up to high school, at a baseball game at Ackies Field, my size dilemma to my newfound friend, Winnie Angstead. He suggested that I go out for the cross-country team with him. It's not hard, and you can win a letter, and that'll really impress the girls. Figuring that the only sport I had a shot at making anyway was baseball later in the spring, cross-country running is a good idea, one that would get me in shape for baseball. So I put all my competitive desire into it, and with the help of some great teammates and Mr. Lawson Earl, a great coach, sure enough, I was fortunate enough to earn a varsity letter as a thin little sophomore. And the rest, as they say, is history. There is just one thing, though. Winnie, I don't remember impressing any girls. Sharing this honor with me tonight are my wife of 39 years, Elmira. And Winnie, I hate to belabor this girl thing, but do you realize that I had to go all the way down to Springfield, Delaware County, just to find her? Also with us tonight are our 3 children, Audrey from North Carolina, Glenn from Pennsylvania, and our daughter Wendy from Collegeville, and their spouses. Also supporting me tonight is my kid sister, Natalie, and her husband. And Natty was only 3 when I was a senior at Norristown High. There's a line from a song that we sing at our church that goes, "Give of your best to the Master, give best of your youth." Ricky Batson, who didn't have a prayer earlier, has a prayer tonight. And it's that those athletic endeavors of his youth were found to be pleasing and satisfactory in the eyes of Almighty God through Christ. Amen. Thank you. God bless America.
Miles Burrell established a Norristown area high school record for the fastest pin in wrestling, and to this day, Miles still has speed on his mind. Our honoree was a member of the varsity wrestling team in his sophomore, junior, and senior years, and was team captain in 1973-74. Miles was all Suburban 1 League first team in '74 while wrestling at 185 pounds. A year, he was all Suburban 1 League honorable mention. He culminated his senior year by being selected to the all-area first team in 1974 at 185. He won 29 matches during his high school career. During the 1970s, the wrestling team had many fewer matches per season than do today's high school teams, making that number more remarkable. One of his highlights is the school record he set in 1974 for the fastest pin, 7 seconds. Miles was also an outstanding member of the high school's football team, playing varsity 3 years. In 1974, he was selected all Suburban 1 League first team at offensive tackle and defensive end. He was also named All-State Honorable Mention in 1974 for his defensive prowess. Miles served as head wrestling coach of Bishop Kenrick High School in Norristown from 1999 to 1996, and presently serves as assistant indoor and spring track coach at Norristown Area High School. He currently is employed as a student supervisor for the Norristown Area School District. And Miles is a founder of the Norristown Midget Wrestling Club and is a co-founder of the Inter-County Wrestling League. Miles resides with his wife, Susan, in Norristown, and they are the parents of a son and 2 daughters. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miles Burrell into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions.
First, I'd like to give honor to God. Also, thank you to the committee, for those who inducted me into the Hall of Champions. I would also like to thank my coaches. Without them pushing me all this, I probably wouldn't even be up here. Also, the one person I would really like to thank is my toughest competitor, also my #1 fan, and that's my mother. Thank you.
Timothy J. Bowers, class of 1975. His athletic accomplishments and his musical talents made for sweet music throughout Timothy's high school career. A member of both the winter and spring track teams as a sophomore, junior, and senior, our honoree established a personal record in the shot put with a toss of 48 feet 6 inches. Tossed the discus 140 feet, and set a new school record in the javelin with a throw of 217 feet 2 inches. Timothy was a 2-time javelin champion in the Suburban 1 relays, was Suburban 1 titleist in the javelin, District 1 silver medalist in the javelin, as well as PIAA state champion in the javelin. In the Golden West Intel Meet in Sacramento, California, where only the top 8 high school seniors in America are invited, Tim placed 5th in the javelin throw. The NAHS track team, while Tim was a member, won the Suburban 1 and District 1 title all 3 years and took the PIAA title in 1973 and 1975. Our inductee also played on the varsity football team at Norristown in his junior and seniors, and was the team's starting center in 12th grade. When he wasn't playing sports, Tim held the first chair clarinet in the school's concert band. He also played the saxophone in the stage band. He also sang in the chorus, winning the David M. Ruchius Memorial Award for his chorus ability. He was a cast member of the senior play, Guys and Dolls. Tim attended Pennsylvania State University on a track scholarship, graduating with a degree in speech communications. He is presently Vice President of Construction with Kearney Construction Company in Hatboro, and he serves as President of the East Norriton Girls Athletic Association and coaches basketball and softball for them. He resides with his wife Cecilia and 4 daughters in East Norriton Township, and at this time, we ask that you please welcome Timothy J. Bowers into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions.
Wow. Boy, to have hair in the 70s, wasn't it great? I had a nice little speech written out, and I was looking it over today, and I decided that that was not me. So I just thought I'd share a couple of memories with you briefly and jotted a couple names down that I didn't want to forget to thank. First, I'd like to thank the Hall of Champions for electing me here. It's quite an honor. I know there's been quite a history of sports excellence here at Norristown High over the years, and I'm very proud to be considered a part of that. While I was here at Norristown, I had quite a few good coaches. On the football team, John Servino, Dennis Telfer, Bud Elvidge, Jack Griffith, Roger Grove, all did a terrific job. Roger Grove was also my first weight coach and taught me all the fundamentals of the javelin, discus, and shot put. Barry Spencer, Smellish, Charlie Graham, Jim Thompson, all also had a big hand in my success. And most importantly, my head track coach, Bob Shout, who I consider the best coach I ever had at any sport, in any level. He was just fantastic. Some of the things that I recall in high school, speaking of Roger Grove, weight training down at Crawford Park in the summers, playing pickup basketball. You had to really be careful if you got ahead of Roger. Look out for the hard fouls. He hated to lose, and he still does as the head coach of Norristown football here. I can remember shoveling off the playground at Roosevelt Field in the winters so we could have the Polar Bear Olympics. I can remember being so cold I didn't want to do anything except go home and take a hot shower. My parents were naturally my best supporters. They backed me up 100% in everything I did, and I can't thank them enough. Thank you, Mom and Dad. You were great. My three brothers, Don, Ted, Dan, did their best to make sure that I never let anything go to my head. They would knock me down to size whenever I thought I was getting to be pretty good. And I had a lot of great things came to me through sports. I got to go to Penn State University on a full track scholarship, where I got to meet my wonderful wife, Cecilia. And I got to travel all over the country, as far away as California for the Golden West Invitational. It was very exciting for a high school senior to get on a plane and fly to California to compete. But the things that I brought with me from sports that I think are the most important were not the awards or the physical awards that I came away with. It's the less tangible things, like learning how to work as a team, to set a goal and work toward it. Just learning how to get along with people. And these are things that have helped me in everything I've done. And I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Kyle Rigg, class of 1988. Kyle was an outstanding wrestler throughout his 4 years at NAHS. He was selected team captain during his senior year, during which he posted 33 wins against only 5 losses. His overall record at Norristown was 94 wins, 35 defeats, including 4 falls among those wins. He was all Suburban One League second team in 1987 and 1988 while wrestling at 119 pounds. During his senior year, Kyle was a PIAA state qualifier in wrestling. In PIAA tournament meets in Section 3, which comprises the Delaware Valley region, Kyle placed fourth at 98 pounds in 1985, placed third in 1980 at 112 pounds, second in 1987 at 119 pounds, and first in 1988 at 112 pounds. He was selected the section's most outstanding wrestler in 1988. In District 1 competition, Kyle placed third in 1987 at 119 pounds and third in 1988 at 112 pounds. In the popular chess tournament, our honoree won at 119 pounds in 1988 after placing in the top 4 the previous 3 years. He was named the tournament's most outstanding wrestler in 1988. He also fared very well in the Upper Merion tournament, winning the 119-pound class that year of 1988 after placing second the previous 2 years. Kyle also played on the football team during his junior and senior years. Kyle attended Montgomery County Community College and served as assistant wrestling coach at East Norriton Middle School. He is employed by the East Norriton-Plymouth Joint Sewer Authority and is also self-employed in the business of driveway refinishing. He resides in Norristown. At this time, please welcome Kyle Rigg into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions.
I'd like to do a double leg better than most guys on the team now. I'd also like just to thank my mom and dad for over the years taking me to practice, football, wrestling. They were always there. My dad worked, but he could always make it. After school, he'd make it to my football games or, any practices. My mom, she has any records since I was 5, and they're all note cards. But I'd like to thank everybody for their help over the years, and that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown and the Norristown Area High School Band. Thank you again. It's my honor at this time to introduce some of our outstanding students who are strong, vital members of our current school community. The first group consists of 3 outstanding sophomores. Are they back there? Jason Fell is involved in many school and community service activities. In addition to his academic achievements, Jason feels his Yes Club has been his most meaningful because it gives him a chance to help people. Jason describes himself as intelligent, sensitive, affable, and sedulous. I had to look that up. It means assiduous, which means diligent. That was three words I had to look up. Jason's future career goals are to pursue a career in aeronautical engineering or computer science, and he'd like to attend MIT. Congratulations. Arlie Finkelstein is the next sophomore in the group of 3. Arlie is especially proud of the fact she's maintained an A average throughout her entire high school career. In addition, she's proud of her induction into the National Honor Society. She considers DECA, field hockey, and lacrosse to be her most meaningful extracurricular activities. As an officer of DECA, Arlie feels she's more involved in planning for the trips and conferences. She describes herself as responsible, loyal, confident, caring, and perceptive. Arlie's future goal is to pursue a college education. Congratulations. Lisa Harrison is the 3rd sophomore in the group, and Lisa's proudest accomplishment is that she's been a straight A student throughout her entire life. In addition to her academic accomplishments, Lisa has been able to school with extracurricular activities. As secretary of the class of 2004, she contributes a great deal of time to her activities. Since the age of 3, she's also participated in dance classes and is extremely proud of her accomplishments in tap, jazz, and ballet. Lisa describes herself as intelligent, dedicated, hardworking, outgoing, and compassionate. At present, her future interests lie in the areas of education or business. Congratulations, Lisa. The next group consists of 3 outstanding juniors. Krista Joseph holds varsity letters in cross country and wrestling and was an Eastern National qualifier for wrestling. In addition to his athletic accomplishments, Chris is most proud of his being selected for Who's Who among American high school students. He feels the German exchange program has been most meaningful to him because he's been able to visit several historical cities and learn about the German culture. He describes himself as hardworking, diligent, understanding, caring, and honest. Chris defines his career goals as attending college to major in software engineering and automotive technology and minor in German. Congratulations, Chris. Dana Hagan is the next junior in the group. Dana is involved in the French club and is a leader in her church youth group. Dana lists her proudest accomplishments as maintaining honors all through high school, winning the Sophomore English Award, and winning the History and Government Award. Dana is very involved in community service activities with her church, and she handles communications for the youth group. She's also experienced in providing summer child care, and she describes herself as being thoughtful, caring, and spiritual. Her future career goal is to major in English area education. Congratulations. Matthew Del Vecchio is the 3rd junior in this group. Matt is involved in the Future Business Leaders of America and Bible study. Matthew is especially proud of his academic achievements. He's taking high achievement classes and has had all A's in high school. Matthew has also participated in community basketball tournaments and assists with the youth in his church. He describes himself as friendly, intelligent, and diligent. His future goals include attending college for at least 4 years and making a lot of money. Well on the way, yeah. The final group consists of 3 outstanding seniors. Kelly Lanuti, now you've heard that name already this evening. Kelly Lanuti is Vice President of the Honor Society, Vice President of the N Club, Corresponding Secretary of the French Club, and a Student Council Cabinet member. In addition to her outstanding academic record of humanities and AP courses, Kelly's especially proud of attending the International Youth Leadership Conference in Australia and being selected for Who's Who among American high school students. Kelly participated in the AIDS Walk and the JDF Walk and the Relay for Life. She also teaches relocation classes to kindergarten students. She describes herself as outgoing, intelligent, friendly, creative, and caring. Her future goals are to attend college and eventually work in forensic chemistry, psychology, or law. Congratulations. Rebecca Sinnell is the next senior in the group. Rebecca is involved in volunteer activities in the Norristown Area High School Yes Club. She has participated in the AIDS Walk and has tutored elementary school students. In addition to maintaining honor roll while taking humanities and AP classes, Rebecca is especially proud of her induction into the National Honor Society and of her attendance at the National Young Leaders Conference in March 2001 in Washington, D.C. Rebecca also took a Gratz College course to receive her Hebrew School teaching certificate and now teaches once a week. She describes herself as motivated, hardworking, caring, and well-rounded. She's currently interning in a one-on-one program with an architectural firm, and her career goal is to become an architect in a large firm. Congratulations. Andrew Schultz is the third senior in this group. Andrew is especially proud of the fact that he's maintained honor roll while taking high achievement courses. He was inducted into the National Society and received the Science Award in 11th grade. Andrew plays varsity soccer and volleyball and coaches a community Little League soccer team. In addition to his academic and sports achievements, Andrew is proud of his involvement with Boy Scouting and of the community service he gives as an Eagle Scout. He describes himself as funny, exciting, helpful, cheerful, and loyal, and his future career goals are to become a successful scientist specializing in the study of the human gene. Congratulations. I'm sure you can see how my day at the high school is made wonderful by spending time with these students. Congratulations to all of them and to their families.
Charles J. Tornetta, class of 1949. His name is synonymous with the real estate profession throughout Montgomery County and the Delaware Valley region. Serving as President and Chief Executive Officer of Tornetta Realty Corp., headquartered in Plymouth Meeting, Mr. Tornetta has been instrumental in building the firm into one of the largest and most prestigious commercial industrial real estate brokerage firms in this area. His firm provides representation, advice, and management to individuals, institutions, and corporate clients. But Charlie's involvement doesn't stop there. He served for many years as chairman of the Montgomery County Planning Commission and still remains as a member of the 9-member group to this day. He also serves as co-chairman of the Montgomery County Seat Economic Revitalization Committee. He is a member of the Greater Norristown Corporation, the Consolidated Chambers of Commerce in the central Montgomery County area, and serves as a director of Montgomery Hospital in Norristown, Progress Bank, of Italian Heritage Council, and the Bellwood Golf Club in Pottstown. Mr. Tornetta received his BS degree in economics from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania and completed studies at Temple University towards a Master of Science degree in economics. He is a member of many associations connected with the real estate profession, including the Tri-State Commercial and Industrial Association of Realtors, which group he served as president in 1994. He is also a past president of the Montgomery County Board of Realtors and is a past director of the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. He's a past president and past director of the Philadelphia chapter of the Society of Industrial and Office Realtors, and is a member of the Urban Land Institute, the American Society of Appraisers, and the International Council of Shopping Centers. He is married to the former Dorothy Smythe, a member of the NHS class of 1953, and resides in Wilton Township. They are the parents of 2 daughters with 3 grandchildren. At this time, please welcome Charles J. Tornetta into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Fame.
I'd like to thank the committee for selecting me after hearing about all these awards and wondering what I'm doing here. I really accept and humbly accept this distinguished award in honor of my parents, who instilled in me the old-fashioned virtue of love of family, love of God, respect of others, and service to our community. My parents, both immigrants, imparted to our family the virtue of good education, despite the fact that they never had any education. They raised 6 boys, all of whom graduated from Norristown High School. I'm doubly proud this evening because I am the second in my family to receive this award. My brother, Dr. Tornetta, is here this evening, and he was one of the first recipients. I'd like to thank my wife, who has been devoted and very supportive of the many hours that I have been away from my home, and in her help in raising our children. I feel hard to be a good role model for my children. I have tried to give back to our community by giving service to the community, and hopefully I made some positive impacts. I enjoy working with people, either being a friend, a consultant, a confidant, or just being there. And during my lifetime, I have tried to have a positive attitude. However, I do accept disappointments because they teach me to try harder the next time. I have 3 of my grandchildren here this evening, and I like to tell them that to be truly successful, go the extra mile. It's not crowded there. Thank you.
A. Richard Gerber, Esquire, class of 1952. He followed in the footsteps of his beloved father to make his own mark in the field of law. Presently a partner in the Bluebell law firm of Gerber and Gerber, our inductee began his professional career in 1960 as a law clerk to the Attorney General of Pennsylvania. Since that time, Mr. Gerber has served as a public defender for Montgomery County, counsel to the Pennsylvania State Senate, chairman of the Montgomery County Board of Viewers, member of the Criminal Procedure Rules Committee as appointed by the State Supreme Court, chairman of the Montgomery County Trial Court Nominating Commission, and as a member of the Pennsylvania Securities Commission. Mr. Gerber served as president of the Montgomery Bar Association in 1979 and chaired several bar committees over the years. Active with the Pennsylvania Bar Association, Mr. Gerber served as its secretary from 1990 to 1993, among many other positions. He was named Outstanding Alumnus by the General Society of the University of Pennsylvania in 1975. He received a citation for public service from the Dickinson School of Law in 1975. And Mr. Gerber received the Montgomery County Special Judges Association Justice Award in 1979, and in 1970 was named an Outstanding Young Man in America. Mr. Gerber received a degree in economics from the University of Pennsylvania in 1956, where he served as president. In 1961, he received his law degree from the Dickinson School of Law. He presently serves as an associate trustee for the University of Pennsylvania and was a trustee of the Dickinson School of Law. He is a board member of FAD, Fight Against Drugs, and serves as a board member for Camp Rainbow, a camp for underprivileged children in Montgomery County. Mr. Gerber resides in Penlyn, Montgomery County, with his wife, Penny. They are the parents of children. Would you please welcome A. Richard Gerber, Esquire, into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Fame.
I'd like to thank my old friend Wilmer Cressman and all the other members of the committee that were kind enough to think of this old garrulous, overweight, sometimes tired trial lawyer and politician. And thanks, I'm glad we have a few here. Norristown went Democratic on Tuesday. I want to thank a guy who's here tonight for coming, because at least my 3 years in high school had an awful lot to do with time spent with Bob Ream. It was great fun for me to see Wally Evans, Jimmy Randolph, the sad but happy feeling to see Don Shank's son, because it was with these people with whom I had the privilege to be educated in this school. The 12 years of public school that I enjoyed, and I really did, had the most wonderful friends and an extraordinary faculty. But today I had a great experience because of a young woman who's a senior here who was honored only moments ago, Kelly Lanuti, when she took me through the high school. It's a great physical plant, but more importantly, I saw great kids, and I want to congratulate Mr. and Mrs. Lanuti for having just an awfully great daughter. I'm told 2 daughters, and forgive me if I missed one because I didn't meet her today. But if you're your sister, you're great also. I'm somewhat saddened and choked because the 2 people that would have enjoyed this most are not here, my parents. In those days, it wasn't called Parent-Teacher Association, it was called Mother's Club. And my mother was president of every Mother's Club in every school I ever went to for every year, and I want to tell you, it could drive you nuts. But as years went by, what an extraordinary role model she was, because if there's anyone that emulated my mother, it's my wife Penny who's here tonight, because she did the very same thing for my kids, our kids. And I want to thank her, because when you talk about what has been able to be accomplished since I graduated from law school, I really owe it to my wife, my parents, my kids, and yes, every one of you with whom I grew up, because I want to tell you, nobody had more fun growing up anywhere than I did here in Norristown. And if you don't believe that, ask Bob Ream and Jimmy Randolph. Thank you.
Guido J. Martinelli, class of 1955. A man with the banking business in his blood and community service in his heart. Guido began his banking career immediately after graduation from Norristown High School, starting in the bookkeeping department of the former Montgomery Norristown Penn Trust Company, advancing to teller, head mortgage clerk, assistant branch manager, and in 1963 was granted his first corporate title of assistant secretary. 9 years after joining the bank, then known as Montgomery Bank and Trust Company, Guido was named assistant treasurer and manager of the bank's new branch in the Audubon Village Shopping Center, Lower Providence Township. In 1973, Mr. Martinelli was promoted to assistant vice president and named manager of the bank's branch office in Square Shopping Center in Norristown. The bank, after another merger, was now known as Continental Bank and Trust Company. Guido was promoted to branch manager of Continental's main office at Main and Swede Streets in Norristown in 1988 with the title of vice president. In 1994, Continental Bank became Atlantic Bank following another merger. Some 3 years ago, in 1998, Guido retired from PNC Bank, which had acquired Midlantic Bank. At the time, our honoree joined Progress Bank as Vice President of Business Development, a position he continues today. Mr. Martinelli's community involvement and awards have been many and varied. In 1973, he received the Distinguished Service Award from the Heart Association of Montgomery County. The Greater Norristown Jaycees presented Guido its Person of the Year Award in 1980. In 1994, he received the Humanitarian of the Year Award from the Central Montgomery Chamber of Commerce. And just last week, he received the 29th Annual Outstanding Citizen Award from the Montco Chamber of Commerce. He served 2 terms as president of the Greater Norristown Jaycees and has served as president of the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions Association. He served 2 terms as president of the Valley Forge Chapter, American Institute of Banking. He is a longtime member of the Norristown Lions Club, the Montgomery County Association, and the Central Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce. Guido has also been active with the Hello Columbus Association, the Valley Forge Council, Boy Scouts of America, and the local Meals on Wheels program. He attended the Montgomery County Community College and the American Institute of Banking. Guido resides in Oaks, Lower Providence Township with his wife, the former Janet Evans. They are the parents of a daughter and 2 sons. At this, please welcome Guido J. Martinelli into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Fame.
I'm used to be standing up here on the podium. 50 years ago, I, along with 38 other graduates from the junior high school, entered Norristown High School, joining 360 other students, forming the class of 1955. Got to catch my breath, excuse me. One of the first teachers I met was my homeroom teacher, who asked me to serve as treasurer of the homeroom. Little did he know that he would create an interest in me that developed into 46 years career in banking. He was only one of the long list of teachers that this great school district has produced over the years that has helped to influence the lives of so many young people. The famed plaque in the vestibule in the auditorium lists the names of more than 120 graduates who have distinguished themselves in their careers following graduation, and I'm so extremely proud and honored to have my name included with them. I am also happy and honored that that gentleman, who was my teacher and is now my friend, is here with us tonight, the former Vice Principal of Norristown Area High School, Bill McCain. Thank you, Bill. As people could say I have a teacher after 50 years. Anyway, this week, as you know, has been an incredible week for me. Last Thursday night, I was honored by my community with the 29th Annual Citizen Award presented by the Montclair Chamber of Commerce, and now tonight, my high school. It's just awesome, and I feel humble. What counts most when I look back over the years are not my accomplishments, which are vague in my mind, but rather the friends who worked with me as partners in these accomplishments. They stand out in my mind. Many of those friends are with me here tonight. I want to offer my congratulations to the other inductees tonight and also to the young students that were honored. It's great to see our young people recognized. They are our future leaders. Tonight, you students are being honored by an organization consisting of volunteers working for a common goal. I would like to charge you this evening that when you set out in life to achieve your goals, that you give back to your community by including community service as part of your goal. So since September the 11th, this great country has seen a surge in not only patriotism, but also volunteerism, and that's good for all of us. Once again, I want to thank the members of the Norristown Area High School Hall of Champions Association for the great honor. I want to thank my former employers, PNC Bank, and especially my current employer, Progress Bank, who has a long tradition of involvement in the communities to which they serve, for allowing me the time and support. I want to thank my family, associates for helping me celebrate this occasion. And last but not least, as I said last week, and I'm going to try to do it this time without getting emotional, I want to thank the four loves of my life. First, the love of my late parents who immigrated here from Italy, leaving family and friends to come to this great country so that their children could have a better life. Then the love of my wife of 41 years, Janet, who has supported me in all my endeavors throughout the years. And from this springs the love of my three children, Richard, Janet, and Dan, and their spouses. And last, the greatest blessing, the love of my grandchildren, Ronnie, Rich, Chris, Courtney, Patrick, and Danny. Norristown High School is a great school, and I'm proud to say that I'm a graduate of it. Thank you.
College in 1963 and the University of Pennsylvania School of Law in 1966, and then service with the United States Army, Mr. Edelman served as an assistant United States attorney in Washington, D.C. from 1969 to 1987. He was the chief prosecutor at the trial of John W. Hinckley, Jr., who shot President Ronald Reagan and three others in 1981 in Washington. Mr. Edelman was also the lead prosecutor in the famous Abscam and RICO cases. From 1988 through 1997, he was a partner in the Washington law firm of Kirkpatrick and Lockhart. In 1987, he left the firm of Kirkpatrick and Lockhart and established his own trial and litigation practice in our nation's capital. He has served as a plaintiff's attorney in cases brought against the tobacco industry. For nearly a quarter century, Mr. Edelman taught courses in evidence and trial practice at the Georgetown University Law Center. Our honoree is a co-founder of the William B. Bryant American Inn of Court in Washington and has served as master of the bench on the Inn since its beginning. He has also served on the faculty of the Federal Judicial Center Educational Programs for Federal Judges and has been a frequent lecturer throughout the United States. While a student at Norristown High School, Roger was a two-way starter on the undefeated Suburban League football championship team in 1957. He currently resides in Washington, D.C. At this time, please welcome Roger M. Edelman into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Fame.
Good evening. Now, I know that phrase puts great fear in the minds of many because that portends a long talk. This will not be a long talk. My throat won't permit it, nor I think the importance of what I have to say will not permit it. First of all, I'm happy to be here after 41 years, having last been at Norristown High School, but I've never left Norristown High School in any real sense, as almost all of my friends in Washington will tell you. They know me from Norristown. I'm the kid from Norristown and ever will be, and that's very important. I'm deeply honored to have this award being tendered to me by people who are from where I am. You know, Washington's a wonderful place in many ways, but it's also a distant place, and I feel home here. I've always felt home here. I'm always here, and physically too. I come up here every weekend for personal reasons all through my life. But it's very important to me to know that now the things I've done and haven't done, and some of those are just as remarkable as the things I've done and useful, are being recognized. I want to say also that, as Dick Gerber and Mr. Tornetta have mentioned, I think those of us with a little more roundness and hair tend to say this. This award belongs to my parents, too, both of whom are lifetime Norristonians. My mother, who's no longer with us, Mary Butz Edelman, family extends back to the mid-19th century in Norristown, and my dad, who's here in Lansdale, has been in Norristown since the 30s. So they too covet this, even though I personally stand here to accept it. I want to say a couple things about some real fine people. First of all, several of my friends and supporters, and a couple enemies even, have shown up to watch this happen. And my sister Jean Freed, who is also a Norristown High attendee, is here. I appreciate her being here. And also, along with several of my relatives, Jerry Spinelli, who's of this award, a member of my class, and as distinguished a member of this school's alumni body as we have. Jerry's been a cherished friend of mine, believe it or not, since we were 6. And you can look it up in any one of his books. But I'm honored to have Jerry and Eileen here as well. I want to just discuss two basic matters here, one of which has been alluded to but not discussed, and that is being a lawyer. Made the decision sort of backward after Penn Law to become a trial lawyer. I've done that for 32 years. I've done it in Washington. I've done it in practically all trial courts in the United States and some overseas. And I want to tell you, I heard some of the students here say in their bios they wanted to be lawyers, and I thought that was good. And I'm proud to tell you, and I'm proud to encourage them, that this is something they should do, because this profession, through whatever reasons, has taken it on the chin over the years. But I, and almost everybody I know in the profession, people who try cases and represent people, tell you how proud you will be to know the law, defend liberty, and do the right thing, and help people, whether you're a prosecutor, or defense attorney, or civil lawyer, or advisor. It's an honorable profession, and to the extent that my words help you, go do it. The other thing I have to say is About 40 years ago, John Updike, who many of you know as one of our fellow great writer, wrote a short story among his many, many writings, a short story called The Happiest I've Been. I shared that with Jerry some time ago, but I want to share it with you just a bit. John Updike was born in Shillington, not 50 miles from here, and went to high school there and sort of cut his oats there, if you will. And the story is basically about Mr. Updike at 18, getting out of high school, being with his friends, to himself, these are people I can really trust, and these are the people who I go back to. And so when I think of NHS Norristown High School, for me, it didn't become area high school for a while, I think of that story. And I think of just the simple, happy times that Mr. Updike talks about that I had at Norristown High School and that I've never forgotten. The Friday night pep rally before we beat Upper Marion, being inducted into the Honor Society. You still do be, don't you? I don't know. Being inducted into the Honor Society, the good friendship of people that has lasted 40 years, the wonderful teachers whose voices still ring in my mind. John Schuler, Mr. Mellick, Dorothy Berger. None of these people are remembered by many of you, but they're remembered by me. The good, simple, happy times of your life I had here at NHS, and I think in no small way helped me. It's been a very rewarding and excellent career. I thank you.
Major George G. Hadrick, class of 1981. He has served his nation in many outstanding and humanitarian ways over the years as a member of the United States Army Reserves. He was a transportation officer during Operation Desert Storm in 1991, helping to supply the 1st and 3rd Armored Divisions. From April to October 1995, Major Hadrick served as the Metkovic Convoy Operations Officer for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in Croatia. He was responsible for humanitarian aid of food, shelter, and medical supplies to more than 1 million refugees in the war-torn Bosnia-Herzegovina area. Selected from a pool of thousands, Major Hadrick was the only United States Reserve officer ever to hold the position of Convoy Operations Officer in Croatia. During his tour at the United States Pacific Command in Hawaii from 1997 to 2000, Hadrick led a disaster team in New Guinea to provide humanitarian aid for Indonesian refugees. A graduate of Lincoln University, Oxford, Chester County, Major Hadrick is a member of the school's Hall of Champions for his track and field exploits. He also graduated from the University of Delaware ROTC program in 1985 and the United Nations Institute for Training and Research. Major Hadrick is employed by the United States Postal Service and is currently involved with management, operational, and strategic planning for their Winter Olympics, scheduled for this coming February in Salt Lake City, Utah. Major Hadrick is one of only 3 individuals to be inducted into both the Norristown Area High School Hall of Fame and the Hall of Champions. He was installed into the Hall of Champions in 1991 for his track and field accomplishments. A member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, George was nominated in 2000 for the White House Fellowship Program in Washington. He is married with 1 daughter and resides in Chesapeake, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Major George Hadrick into the Norristown Area High School Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Norristown Hall of Fame for inducting me for such an honor. About 10 years ago, as you can see, the Hall of Champions, I couldn't be here because of Operation Desert Storm. Our Patrick stepped in for me and accepted the award, and I'd like to thank him for that as well. I'd like to thank my family, my mother and father, who gave me support through hardship times in my life. My brother and sisters, who always gave me support, even when I didn't want it. Always gave me support. I remember my mother, as I prepared for a game, she would make sure I had the right gear, the right equipment, the right uniform, the right clothes, and make sure I had hot meal. My father baton from my mother and gave me some strategic advice of how to win this game. I'd like to thank Mr. Coach Dennis Mellish, who's back here somewhere. He gave me my first taste of leadership. I guess I was in 10th grade. I was a track athlete. It was a rainy day. So I decided not to go to practice. Coach Mellish called my house and said, "George, where you at?" I said, "I'm home, sir." He goes, "Well, I need you ASAP because you're a leader. I want to make sure the rest of the team knows that you're a leader." At that time, I didn't know what he was talking about. Now I do. After leading many nations and different operations, I now understand what Mr. Mellish was saying to me. "George, come to the front and lead. You're a leader." And I didn't know it. So Mr. Mellish, thank you for showing me the way. My father. I tried in 11th grade at Mary High School. I figured I wanted to be a star. My father told me no way possible. He said, "You're going to stay in Norristown," and he said, "You're going to work hard." So he taught me to take on a challenge. My brother Joe and my sister Wandy taught me a lesson in basketball when I was a kid. They took me to the high school. Well, we had an elementary school, Gottwalds Elementary School, and they beat me so bad in basketball that I cried for about 3 hours behind a chair when I got home. I learned from that lesson that I was going to be determined and practice hard as I could to one day beat my brother and sister. They don't play me anymore. To my wife, Carla, I know I put you through a lot, being deployed in 2-hour notice, getting phone calls in the middle of the night saying, "Get out of the country," and through the operations of 9 nations, the floods in Bangladesh, Mongolia, China, Middle East, to Germany, to Bosnia, to Africa. You've always been there for me. Sometimes you go overlook that, and I never really told you thank you, but I really do appreciate all the work you've done and the support and love you give me and our daughter Sherelle. I live by 3 principles. Always have a mid, short, and long-term plan. Without that, you can't succeed in life. I live by that every single day. My daughter probably hates it, but if she has something to do 2 weeks from now, I make her tell me, "What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? And what are you going to do 2 weeks from now?" And I make her do a progress report to me. So I know she's not crazy about it, but Sherelle, I love you too. You know, I've been through a lot of different scenarios in life. When I was in high school, I thought maybe I'd go to college and just play a little ball and call it quits. But now, like, my life has turned 20 folds over. I've seen things that I even dreamt of seeing or doing. If you've never seen refugees, 1 million refugees coming your way without food, water, shelter, and asking for help, it's one sight that you will never forget. I've seen many atrocities around the world that I've only told my daughter because I didn't think too many people could handle what I've seen. So she's probably years ahead of her age. I mean, years so far ahead where she should be. I've seen September 11th, when those attacks occur, I was at the White House secondary location. I was giving a speech on terrorism, and we had this huge screen size of the banner behind me, and I was giving a presentation about terrorism to FBI agents, CIA agents, local and state responders, and I didn't know that was for real. I was sitting there. I said, wow, they're going all out for me. Behold, when the second plane hit, I realized then that it was for real. And what I'm asking you is the President's going to need our support for many years to come. My job now is a correction. I don't work for the Post Office. I work for a United Nations affiliate Joint Task Force Civil Support, which we deal with terrorist response from nuclear, biological, or chemical warfare. And I can tell you that we're in this for a long haul, so we need to support, and sometimes we have a tendency to fade. I'm asking you to be strong because it will take a long time. I have met terrorists in my life, and I can tell you, they're here to fight us for a long haul as well. So be strong, and thank you again for this award.
Before we all adjourn to the cafeteria for refreshments and fellowship with our honored guests, I would like to take this opportunity to recognize some special individuals and groups whose contributions have made this program possible this evening. I want to thank Ryan Swearin for singing the national anthem and the Norristown High School Band under the direction of Scott Brown. For their fine musical selections. All members of the Hall Champions Association wish to extend our deepest appreciation and thanks to Rory Zumo for her fine work in producing and directing this ceremony from behind the scene. I think Rory's up there in the balcony. She also created the wonderful exhibit on the inductees in the display case in the lobby of this auditorium. Also, thanks to Jeffrey Brandon for another excellent offstage announcer. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. I also want to personally thank Robert Kane, Chairman of the Hall Champions Selection Committee, and Fred Lobb, Chairman of the Hall of Fame Selection Committee, and their respective committee members for their dedication and fine work during the past year, as exemplified by the caliber of this year's inductees. Thank you very much. Also, thanks to Kathy Nicholas for chairing the Advertising Committee, and she did such a great job this year that we set a record for raising revenue dollars, and I appreciate that very much, Kathy. You did a great job. And then thanks again to Joyce England for chairing the preparation of our program booklet, and to Northeast Laser Engraving Incorporated from Connecticut, who were headed by former inductee Kurt England, for creating the plaques for each inductee. And last but not least, a big thanks to Jim Wood for writing the inductee profiles for the offstage announcer and producing press releases for the media. Unfortunately, Jim is not here this evening because his brother died and he had to fly to Arizona. Now we invite each of you to our reception in the cafeteria behind this stage. Please enjoy the festivities. I would like all the inductees to remain on the stage for a short round of picture taking before joining your friends in the cafeteria. Thank you very much for coming tonight. It was great to see everybody.